live on the Doug Serravo Show. Alongside me, we have Brandon Schwartz and Andrew Brem. Brandon, how are you today?
Doug, I'm doing great. It's good to be back.
Andrew, how are you today?
I'm good, thanks.
Well, this time last week, Jeffrey and you and myself were debating if there's indoor dining. There's indoor dining today.
There is.
And before we get into our thoughts, this is what Governor Phil Murphy had to say.
I'm signing an executive order, and Judy will issue an executive directive later today, I believe, that will allow indoor dining to resume at 6 a.m. this upcoming Friday, September 4th. I'm proud that our restaurants will be able to return to some level of indoor service for the Labor Day weekend. And by the way, I looked ahead for the weather, and it looks pretty good, so knock on wood, it'll stay that way. Of course, this resumption of indoor dining will come with strong limits on capacities as well as other requirements which will be strictly enforced.
Fine. I've seen what the other states have done, and they've done a phenomenal job. They sat every other table. They, everybody was wearing the mask. The employees were wearing the masks. They weren't allowing too many people in the dining room. So they're gonna do fine. They're gonna do fine. I think if every other state could do it, they could do it.
And baseball deadline a month later. Brandon, who's your winner of the deadline today?
Gotta go with the Padres. I think it was great they added a star pitcher to their roster. As the Padres have been doing very well, I think they just got even better with Mike Clevenger on the team.
You look at these moves, you could say Diamondbacks are going to rebuild mode. They traded Robbie Ray, Starling Marte, Archie Bradley. What do you think about the Diamondbacks' future moving forward?
I think they'll figure it out. I'm not too worried about them. I think they're going to be like every other team that has to rebuild. But I think their management's good. They play in a good ballpark. I think they'll be fine. I think they're fine. And you know what? The Diamondbacks, farm system is very good. They always call up good players. They really do. And they do a good job with that.
Looking at the playoff picture, where you have the Blue Jays in that 8th spot, it's a little bit different this year, having 1 versus 8 compared to the 6 teams they normally have. Blue Jays, they went out, they acquired Taijuan Walker, Robbie Ray. Where do you see the Blue Jays moving forward as the last month of baseball gets underway?
I think they're going to be. I think they're going to be. They're still not there yet, but because the AL East is good, you still got the Yankees and the Rays in the top 2. But the Blue Jays are on their way. And the pitching. Since they got Rue now, they got Rue. Who else did they get today?
Robbie Ray. Jonathan Villar.
Those are two good left-hand pitchers they got.
The San Diego Padres. You have that young core of Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado, Chris Paddock, and to add in the players they added today with Mike Clevenger and
I think Greg Allen too.
Greg Allen they brought in. They brought in a few good guys today, so I think they're going to be there with the Los Angeles Dodgers because sooner or later the Dodgers aren't going to win that division.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a team that ultimately takes that spot. And can it be the Padres? Can it be the Rockies? Who do you see ultimately taking down the Dodgers? Maybe not this year, but maybe 2-3 years down the road.
Take on the Dodgers? I think, I'm going to be honest, I think the Diamondbacks.
Yeah. You really think that the Diamondbacks, after
are going to rebuild fast?
Selling?
I think they're going to rebuild fast. I really do. I have faith in them. I really do.
And as you look at the standings, you look at the Red Sox, they traded Mitch Moreland. Are you surprised they didn't trade away their guys like Xander Bogaerts, J.D. Martinez? They traded away Kevin Pillar, but that's not much. So are you surprised at being in the position that they are today, 12-22, that they didn't decide to, maybe it's time to do a full rebuild?
No. I don't think they wanted to do that. Plus, when they lost, I think they had a tough off season, especially when they lost Cora as their manager. They they want to rebuild. They want to build these guys that gave them the championship in 2018. They want to build them. They want to build their they want to build their power and stuff around Ron Renicky, because I think Ron Renicky's a good. He could be a good manager. But you got to give these players some leeway because they had a tough season. They had a tough season last year. But especially with Sale injured, you got to give
New
them
York area. And
New York metropolitan area.
the New York Mets wanted to trade Edwin Diaz. They wanted to, and this was a quote from Jeff Passan on ESPN today.
Edwin Diaz, the Mets want to trade him. Not many people want him. End of story.
Of course he came over in the Cano trade from Seattle. Is that
So how tough has to be a Met fan and see they got rid of prospects for Edwin Diaz and Robinson Cano. Cano's been playing phenomenal as a 37-year-old veteran. But Edwin Diaz has more blown saves this year than he does saves.
Brazil safe, but in second, the Islanders with a 2-goal lead. Just play. Little.
Brandon, you're a Rangers fan, but how about those New York Islanders? They are on a roll right now, and they are one win away from an Eastern Conference Final appearance.
So it's amazing how far they came this season. They deserve it. They really worked hard. They had good players. Conference Finals.
Or who do you think could beat the Islanders?
Oh,
'cause it looks like they're on a roll right now, and I think they're going to go to the Stanley Cup Final.
It's a tough decision, man. Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. I think it's possible. I think the Lightning are due for a Stanley Cup Final appearance, and it's truly been a while. Kyler Murray is going to have an MVP season. I think adding DeAndre Hopkins is a plus for him. He can also run the ball. So I think, they improved. They won 5 games last year. I truly believe that Kyler Murray will have an MVP season. But I don't see him winning MVP because I do believe that Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes will be the MVP this season, along with Lamar Jackson. But I do believe that Kyler Murray will be in that conversation. And they're 7-9. They were like 1-7 at one point. So who's the better team?
Jets.
You see the Jets having a better.
Yeah, and always I hear Sam Darnold always being talked in the NFL all the time. So, and I don't hear much of the Giants having like a big superstar in the league. So I feel like it's the Jets because I hear this Sam Darnold guy all the time, and it's like I feel like with him being on the team, I think they'll take a step forward than the Giants.
Brandon, who do you see having a better season? Is it going to be because of the quarterback position, or maybe because of the Giants and Joe Judge? Where do you see this football season going in the New York area?
I think the Giants can do that. I think they're ready to be the Giants again. I think they're ready to. I could see them winning 10 games this year, maybe.
You see that?
I could see them winning.
Well, they just signed Logan Ryan today to a 1-year, $7 million contract.
That's how that helps us. I mean, it really does. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, football is also it's an it's anybody could really win. I mean, basketball is the one sport where you can kind of like predict who's going to win.
Yeah.
But football,
It's different.
It's like.
Because
football is always there's always upsets.
Right,
Exactly. And you have LeBron on the team.
Oh, 100%.
If you have Damian Lillard, you're going to have a competitive game. You have Kawhi Leonard. You have Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. You already know that those teams are going to be the teams that win games.
Yes.
So basketball, it's always, if you have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Kevin Durant, you already know they're going to be in the NBA Finals.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what first-year head coach Joe Judge had to say today from training camp.
You're asking is true. I think there is a slightly different dynamic with that, Pat, because you have the expanded practice squad roster as well as the ability to keep veterans who previously wouldn't have been eligible for practice squad
different
keep
because there's
them.
no preseason games where you could see these players and know what they truly have. So if you're like a undrafted free agent, how difficult is that going to be, and how different is it from, we have a preseason game, and I'm throwing 200 yards, and next thing you know, I'm the backup to Aaron Rodgers, Daniel Jones, Tom Brady. They don't have that opportunity this year.